Welcome to the Amphenol webinar series. Carmelo Cruz, Product Manager with the Power Solutions Business Unit, will introduce several new key products to the market, including our next evolution of PwrBlade series. We'll take questions at the end of the webinar. Please raise your hand or type the question in a question section. Carmelo?
Hi, Lori. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar series today, reviewing some of our new power technologies that we have to offer or will be releasing to the market very shortly here in the next 2 quarters. So today I am going to focus on some of our newer technologies, including some of our OCP, bar clip family extensions, some of our new PwrBlade product family connectors, and then also I will do a brief introduction of the overall business unit, who we are as a group, and some of our key focuses is on technology and their overall group focus. So to start off, I just want to introduce the Power Business Unit for those of you that are not familiar. So our business unit is centralized under the newly formed Amphenol Communication Solutions Division. We have, our headquarters are actually located here in Valley Green, Pennsylvania. We have 4 fully integrated manufacturing facilities globally in China and India. We have 2 state-of-the-art certified test labs, both here in the United States in Valley Green, Pennsylvania, and then also in China. And then we also have a globally staffed R&D team in the USA, Europe, and Asia Pacific regions. So most of our customer base is a global customer base today, from our OEM customers to our ODM partners as well. So we are a very globally staffed team, from our product management team to our engineering R&D. And then we also have a lead engineering team that is centrally focused on customer support and customer system development. Our manufacturing footprint has continued to evolve over the past few years. So we have centrally manufacturing facilities in China today. We've also expanded some of our capabilities and fully integrated manufacturing facilities into India as well, to help support China Plus One basis for our customers. Some of the core technologies that we're focused on are technologies at the base of our connectors today. And as we continue to go through and experience new technologies, emerging technologies in the market today, we'll continue to focus on developing our technology accordingly. So some of the key factors that we focus on today are high density contact technology. Our contact technology is really at the core of our connector technology, and what we use as a base to continue to develop within these emerging markets. We continue to develop ultra low profile products for our customers. So the power requirements and system requirements continue to shrink for us. So the overall density continues to grow in our connectors, but also keeping low profiles, smaller footprints within the board to increase airflow or have enhanced airflow through the system. And then a key part of that in our connector technology is our proprietary silver-based plating. It's really a key driver of our overall performance, which helps our connectors operate at the most efficiency within our customer systems, and then also thermal performances. Our GCS plated technology is a silver deposit over nickel with a gold flash, and then our AGT is also a silver deposit over nickel as well. We have key thermal capabilities internal to our group. So we do have a internal thermal engineering team that's been key in integrating with our customers over the past few years, helping design elements, helping design systems, doing simulations in still air, airflow, two-phase liquid cooling, which is going to become a big trend in the market today as we evolve from liquid and immersion cooling applications. So some of the key tests or key elements that we can help test is T-rise. We can recommend material and plating, PCB recommendations to our customers, hotspot observations, and much more. Again, this is our team, our full thermal engineering team here in Valley Green. And then one of the things we do pride ourselves on and what keeps us versatile is our customizable solutions. So for most of our key product families today, we offer full modular tooling. We do have configurators on the web, so customers are able to easily go customize the number and placement of pins, signals, guides, and cables. We do have another wide range of technology to meet pretty much any tech or application requirement out there. So we have gatherability and misalignment for blind mate applications, backplane applications. Our connectors are already spaced for multiple voltages in customer applications today. So there's really no need to redesign connectors based off whether we're moving from 12 or 48 volts in a given application. We do have IP sealing and touch-proof features for the applications needed. And then we have multiple field termination options for field assembly. So a lot of this, a lot of the field termination we do see in more telecom and some data-driven applications in the market today. Overall, this is kind of a key, the key elements of which drives our BU and our technology growth as we continue to develop products within the business unit. Just to share just where we are, kind of the markets we serve, and the products we offer. This is not a full view of what our portfolio looks like, but we really have a very large depth of products in the market today, ranging from two-piece connectors to one-piece to cableized I/O solutions. We serve various markets within this core technology, from the data centers to server storage, PSU, BBUs. We have various connectors that are targeted towards the telecommunication and 5G outdoor radios today. We do have products designed in for robotics and industrial applications, whether that be automation or LED lighting, outdoor lighting, and then we have products available for EV charging and energy storage. Again, most of our key technology is based off our blade technology, which our key product family today is our PwrBlade series. PwrBlade's been around for over 20 years and continues to be relevant today across the market. PwrBlade's used in roughly 70% of power supply applications today. It is the de facto standard in data centers as far as a power supply or battery backup power connector selection. We have emergent technologies in our card edge technologies, moving from anywhere from 1800 watts to over 3000 watts. Again, field terminable connectors, and then an array of I/O connectors. So as I mentioned in the beginning, my primary focus today will be to introduce some of our new technology, specifically in our Bartlett product family for the OCP market. So this slide just gives a basic overview of what our ORV2 options are and our ORV3 options within the OCP community today. So our existing product family, you'll see here on the left under the red header there, we offer the BK200 and the BK100. These are both 12 and 48 volt connectors. And then on the right is everything we've offered new within the past year for the ORV3 product specification. There is some slight differences that I'll go to a little bit more in depth, some additional features that we've provided or designed in for just overall usability. some safety features that we offered, and then also some sensing features that we've designed into these next-gen programs. One of the big differences between the ORV2 spec and OCP and the V3 spec is that we are moving from 12 to 48 volt connectors, much higher amperages, and then we also do have a dedicated power shelf connector versus the ORV2 connector today. For the ORV3 spec, we are offering a few different flavors of the connectors today. So you'll see we have a BK150, a 50 amp upgrade over the BK100 and the V2 spec. We have that in a screw mount version, and then we also have that in a panel mount slide to lock. So that's a toolless version. Those are pretty much based off customer preference within their applications. And then we also have our BK500 power shelf or power output connector that we're offering. So the first connector I'll review is the 48 volt BK150 IT Gear connector. So some of the key differences or key features that we've added versus the V2 connector is you'll see we still have 2 power circuits. We did add 2 sense pins, and then we also added 2 chassis ground contacts. So the overall power and load, our power and return is 150 amps load, 150 amps return for 300 amps total. This is in still air. We did introduce a chassis ground contact, and this is an optional feature that we're providing to customers. These are rated up to 64 amps. They were designed specifically to be double the AC in current for up to 2 minutes. Again, these are a secondary grounding feature to the chassis and the rack that is offered. And then we have new sense contacts, right? So this is for the hot swappability circuitry within the system. So these connectors can be mated and unmated under load. So the sense contacts are mate last first break. So the sense contacts will disengage, and there will be a number of milliseconds that the system will be able to power off to avoid any arcing or power damage to the contacts. The OCP ORV3 bus bar has changed from a 3mm thick bus bar over to a 6mm thick bus bar. We did introduce more horizontal float within the connector from ±2 millimeters to ±3 millimeters in both the X and Y directions. And again, this is fully compliant with the ORV3 IT Gear connector specification within the OCP space. You will see on the right hand side of the screen, we do have options for up to 2 or 2 6-gauge or 8-gauge wires. This is all depending on current. So 6-gauge will get you up towards the 150 amp range, and then for applications requiring less current, let's say 100 amps, we would use 8-gauge wires. Our 48 volt BK500 power shelf connector has 2 power circuits and then also 2 chassis ground contacts. Again, the ground contacts are meant to ground the chassis to the rack. The current ratings on this is 360 amps load and 360 amps return, 720 amps total, and that is in still air. And then it's rated for 500 amps load and return and 300 LFM airflow for 1,000 amps total. The chassis ground contacts are rated for the same current, again, double the amount of the AC input at 64 amps for 2 minutes total for both contacts. We did introduce longer contact points to provide more wipe to the bus bar. The bus bar thickness is the same, 6 millimeters. The panel float is plus or minus 3 millimeters in both directions. And this connector actually does not have any hot swap circuitry sense pins. We do not recommend the BK500 be loaded or be unmated live. We do have some customers, again, using this in very different applications today. So the base application is for power shelves or BBU shelves. We have customers using this for different PSU nodes or storage nodes within the system. There will come times where the application that these will be designed to have zero airflow. At that point, the connector will be rated at 360 amps load and return. And obviously, we can use multiple of these within the systems to achieve the current ratings needed. These come also in bundles of 12 by 8 gauge high flex wires. So there's 12 cables per circuit on these. And the number and placement of these can be configurable within the application requirements. The wires on both of these connectors are ultrasonically welded, right, to maximize efficiency, reduce voltage drop, and improve overall contact resistance. Here's just a basic layout of the overall OCP ORV3 power shelf application. For those of you that are not familiar with it today, this is just a basic diagram showing the overall power from the facility through the AC power connector into the power shelf, converting from AC to DC, and then through the output connector into the bus bar. From there, the power is then distributed through the bus bar to the battery backup units, and then both the IT Gear shelf connectors. So those are your servers, your storage shelves, and whatever other IT Gear shelves the customer might have in the rack. One of the key differentiators, and I'm not going to spend too much time going over the overall ORV3 structure or application structure, but one of the key differences from V2 to V3 is the power shelf is actually modular. It was designed to be modular and flexible within the rack. So in the V2 architecture, the power shelf was actually mounted or screwed down into the bus bar. These new power shelves split the PSU and the BBU. They are both now connectorized. It gives customers the ability to move the power shelves up and down the rack as they'd like, and then also add power shelves or BBU shelves as needed for a little bit more density within the rack for high dense applications. The next connector that is new to our overall portfolio is our universal AC input connectors. These are also part of the Open Compute project and a product that we're offering to the overall general market. So these are the connectors that bring, or the AC input connectors that bring the power from the facility, again, into the power shelf, converting the AC to DC power conversion through the output connector. These connectors are 7-pin oriented, rated up to 30 amps per pin. As you can see to the right, we do have polarization and keying features to prevent mismating. We are offering hard back shell options and then also overmolded shell options. These are completely up to customer preference. We have different configuration types from a crimp to PCB mount, and also some hybrid termination options, both crimp and PCB mounted connectors. These are IP20 touch safe, both on the plug and receptacle side. We have both NEMA and IEC AC whip cable options, which I'll show on a couple slides here later. These connectors are configurable from 8 gauge to 16 gauge wiring options. And again, as you can see on the right, shows some of the touch proofing features. The contacts, the male side of the contact also comes with plastic pins on the tips for touch safing featuring. Here's just a quick view of our overall portfolio and what we have to offer today. So as I mentioned, these are a 7-pin configuration types. So there's three power, 3 return, and then 1 ground. So we have a right angle, we have crimp terminations, we have a vertical PCB termination, and then we have a hybrid combination to the PCB, and then both with the wire option for the grounding feature. As far for the AC whip side, the input to the shelf, we have both right angle and straight options as far as the cable exits go, and both hard shell and overmold options. As you'll see, the left 2 options on the bottom of the screen are hard shell options, and then we do have an overmolded option as well. Both of these connectors come with squeeze to release latches into the system. Here's just an overview of some of the whip cables that we offer today. So we have multiple configurations that we offer: a 3-phase 5-wire star configuration, a 3-phase 4-wire in delta configuration, and then single-phase 3-wire configurations. We offer both the NEMA type and IEC whip cable styles. These come in various lengths depending on the location of your power shelf within the system. So some applications might have the power shelf located near the top of the rack, or centrally located, or near the bottom. That will depend on the length from the facility down to the power rack of the cable. The next 2 products that are, or next few products I want to introduce, is some products that we're really excited about using some of our blade technology in the market today. And products that really spanned over multiple applications and markets as far as their usability and their power density. So the first one I'm going to introduce here is our PowerMax IO. So for those of you that know, we have had a PowerMax in the market since a board-to-board version of this connector in the market since 2014. We have cableized the connector technology and are able to achieve up to 100 amps per column within this connector system. So some of the target applications that we're seeing PowerMax designed in today is mostly inside the box, from AC, or from the input power through the power supply. These are being used in very dense applications where linear space is of concern, and density is a key factor. One of the key features for this connector system today is we do have a plus or minus 1.91 millimeters of blind mate gatherability within the connector system. It does maintain the same height above board that the existing board-to-board connector does. It does utilize also our GCS plating technology on the power contacts, with a max resistance of 1 milliohms at end-of-life conditions. We are offering this connector as well with our high-density signals. So our previous signal contacts were at a 2.5 millimeter pitch, and the new high-density signals are at a 2 millimeter signal pitch as well. Again, condensing less linear space, more power density within this space allotted. And then lastly, we are offering this connector with 2 different options as far as latching goes. So we do have a slide to lock, which is utilized a lot on our bar clip products today, and then also our squeeze to release for easy disengagement within the system. Our next product, again, a product that we're excited about, a fabulous technology that was developed over the past year and is now tooled and being designed into applications today, is our PwrBlade Mini-Mes. It's the next evolution of our PwrBlade product family, designed to target miniature or small applications mezzanine applications from the data center world to telecommunications and 5G radios to robotics and industrial applications today. So the stack heights that we've designed this connector at run from anywhere from 8 millimeters to 20 millimeters in 1 millimeter increments. The high power contacts are rated for 50 amps per contact for 4 adjacent contacts energized. And then we also have a low power contact option at 4 contacts energized. So as you can see, these are completely modular as well. The tooling is so we can add and subtract power contacts as needed, and also signal contacts. We do offer this connector in dual role power rows, and then also single contact rows as well. Depending on the space allotted or the linear space required on the PCB, we can configure this connector as needed. This is plated in GCS plating as well. The signal pitch is a 2 millimeter signal pitch for both power and signal contacts. These are offered in both press fit and solder tail terminations, and again, for blind mate applications, the gatherability is at plus or minus 0.80 millimeters for applications that it requires. And then the last 2 products here fall within the same family. So keeping the same theme, this is our PwrBlade Mini board-to-board, and then our PwrBlade Mini cable-to-board. The configurations on these contacts are slightly different, so I'll kind of walk you through what the differences are. So our PwrBlade Mini board-to-board was designed to be an overall lower profile than our existing PwrBlade Ultra today, which is at a 9.6 millimeter above board. Our PwrBlade Ultra technology is actually the lowest 2-piece high power connector in the market today, power and signal connector today. And we've even shrunk that even further now with the PwrBlade Mini board-to-board to 8.10 millimeters for, again, increased airflow while maintaining very dense power density. Another feature that we've included into the technology is there is no PCB overhang in this connector compared to the PwrBlade Ultra. The contacts are rated at 50 amps at 4 adjacent contacts. The voltage rating is up to 50 volts DC. The tooling again on this is completely modular, as is all our other PwrBlade technology within the portfolio. And this also has press fit and solder tail terminations. Now there is a difference between the board-to-board and the mini cable-to-board. The contact orientation is slightly different. So on the board-to-board, the contact terminations or configuration is oriented in a vertical fashion, whereas in the mini cable-to-board, the contacts are shifted horizontally. The reason that was done was to be able to fit the contacts technology in while maintaining the overall low profile. So these are available again in cable-to-board. We have 2 options that we're offering to the market. One is squeeze to release cable options that you've seen on some other products. And we've also introduced a CPA latching, a connector position assurance for industrial applications requiring those options as well. These are coming in right angle and vertical configurations as well. Again, completely modular. The current rating on these are 25 amps per contact, for voltage rating of 50 volts DC. And then there is also optional board retention features that we offer, peg hold downs, and then screw features as well, internal to the housings. Again, these are 2 products that we're really excited about, specifically designed for distributing power internal to the systems from the power output or input into IT shelves, internal to telecommunications, 5G radios, small footprints, where we continue to see increased current carrying capabilities and smaller footprints on the PCBs. We think this is going to be a great solution across the board for those applications requiring high density and a miniature footprint. And I believe, Lori, that's everything I had today. So we can do questions.
Okay. We have a question. Any plans of getting these US car rated?
So as far as the PwrBlade Mini configurations,
That's all. Is that what it says?
so I don't believe there's any plans currently. I would have to double check with our engineering group to see what the connector is capable of and what specifications they would be able to pass within those applications. So I guess if that question could be emailed over to us, we can certainly follow up, within our engineering team and follow up with an answer, Lori.
Okay, no problem. I'll get you that person. And then that was the only question that we had.
Okay, well, again, I appreciate everyone joining, and if there's any additional questions, please feel free to shoot us an email. I have both my email and then Kelly Byers, who's our Global Product Marketing Manager, as well on here. We also have our website on here. Most of these products will, if they're not on our website today, they'll be on very shortly, where you'll be able to go configure products and create instant models or drawings as needed.
Thank you, Carmelo.
Thank you, everyone.